What's good, YouTube? Your boy got to the Dragon's Tangent. I bring you part 2 of What If Naruto was Shisui's little brother. Now, bro, y'all, I said 50 likes. It has 182. 182. So obviously, y'all know what I'm on. And yeah, we are getting close to 1.6k. So yeah, let's get that big 1.6k. And yeah, we taking over. Anyways, we left off where Naruto and Kakashi just got them fighting. As we're gonna do, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys, Kushina and Minato are still alive. They are definitely still alive. Cause remember, I made Naruto the same around the era of Itachi. Naruto and Itachi are the same age. So we go to Naruto walking through the village. He still wears his the outfit that he wore last time, but he's gonna get an outfit change in a little bit. You guys probably can already guess. Anyways, as Naruto's walking through the village, he sees Itachi. Itachi was with his mother, as Itachi had his head on his mother's stomach. As Naruto walks over saying, hey Itachi, as Itachi says, oh, hi Naruto. As Naruto's like, well, what are you doing? As he's like, I'm trying to see if it's my little brother or little sister. As Naruto notices that Mikoto is pregnant, as he's like, oh, you're pregnant. And she's like, yeah, as she rubs her stomach. As she's like, well, congratulations. As she's like, thank you. As Naruto's like, well, I should be heading off. I have some training to do. As he gives her a smile, and then Naruto walks away. As he arrives at the training field, Naruto begins to spar with the tree. He's punching the tree so hard, his punches leave huge indents in the tree. As then with one kick, he kicks the tree down. As he does this for about a solid hour, as it's getting nighttime, Naruto could feel something was wrong as he was walking through the village. As I'm gonna say that Kushina and Minato had a son, but yeah, this is how it's gonna happen. As all of a sudden a big eruption, everybody just sees the smoke and trees in the very, very back of the village. A huge beast with 9 tails erupts as it yells. This was probably one of the most horrifying yells that Naruto's heard. As Naruto jumps up in a tree and sees a giant-tailed beast, as he's like, the 9-tailed fox. As then he sees a whole bunch of ninja troops heading over to fight it. As Naruto is jumping through trees. As then he feels somebody pull him back. As this was his mother. Naruto says, Mom, get off me, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm sorry. I can't let you do this. As she punches Naruto in the stomach as Naruto passes out. As she puts Naruto on the floor, and then she goes to fight the tail beast. 30 minutes later, Naruto wakes up and hears people just getting slaughtered by Kurama. As he's like, no, what? Mom. As he starts to jump from tree to tree, as he's like, ultimate teleportation. As he teleports right to where he feels his mother's chakra signature. As he sees her up against a tree with a big gash mark in her stomach. As she only has a few seconds left. As Naruto's like, Mom, what happened to you? As she said, just don't worry about me. Just please live a good life. Please. As then she dies. As Kurama's like, I'm going to say Kurama was talking. He was like, your poor little mommy died. As Naruto's eyes went from a 3-time away as they started to spin. As Naruto looked at Kurama with 2 Mangekyous that looked like Sasuke's, except Sasuke wasn't alive at this time. So Naruto's taking over Sasuke's Mangekyo. As he breaks Kurama out of Obito's Genjutsu, just canceling it out with his 2 Sharingans. As Naruto's like, have a seat. As Kurama sits down. As Naruto walks over to him. As he says, why did you kill my mother? As then he undoes his Genjutsu. As Kurama is like, I'm out of your Genjutsu. As Naruto's like, relax before I put you in it again. As Kurama has a seat. As Naruto's like, why did you kill my mother? As Kurama's like, look kid, I was being controlled. As Naruto's eyes widen but saying, but by what? Madara Uchiha. As Naruto's like, Madara Uchiha? But shouldn't he be dead? Why would I be dead? As Naruto looks back. As Kurama says, ugh! As Naruto's like, please, don't Kurama. Stay there. As then a whole bunch of shinobi are running as they see Kurama. As they're like, attack! As Naruto's like, stop! As all the shinobi troops look at Naruto. As Naruto jumps on top of Kurama and pets his head. As Kurama kind of gives a little smile. As Naruto said, he didn't mean to do it. He was controlling him. As he points at the masked man wearing the black cloak. As Minato arrived on the scene saying, what's going on here? As then the Naruto says, apparently this is Madara Uchiha, but that can't be Madara Uchiha. His hair is it's so short. As Minato's like, no, this cannot be Madara. As then Naruto says, and I have a question for you, masked man. What is it? I don't have a lot of time. I got to go do some things. As he's like, you're a Sharingan user, so how come you only have one eye? As Obito's like, oh, as this makes something in Minato's head ring. As then Kakashi arrives, as then he sees a dude with only one Sharingan in the opposite eye of his, as he's like, there's no way. As Kakashi stutters, Obito? As the masked man disappears. As Minato says, no doubt about it, that was Obito. As Minato says, so, what will we do about you, Kurama? That is your name, right? As Kurama says, well, I think I'd like to be sealed inside of this boy. As Naruto's like, alright. But do you guys have a jutsu to do that? As Minato's like, yeah, but it would take my life. But I think we have another way. One of the ninjas in here has a really good sealing jutsu that can just seal you inside of him without you even taking over his body. Because Naruto does have a lot of chakra. Naruto doesn't have as much as the Uzumaki, but I'm gonna say he has just enough to be able to have Kurama. Anyways, so they went to the place as Naruto laid down as Kurama sat in front of him. As then this old lady does some hand signs, and then she puts her hand on Kurama's heart, and then she puts her hand on Naruto's heart. As then Kurama turns into just a big bubbly chakra thing, and then goes right inside of Naruto, creating a seal on his stomach. As then Kurama was sealed inside of Naruto. As Naruto was looked at as a hero in this village. As when Naruto's done, he stands up. As he says, you okay, Kurama? As he enters his mindscape, as Kurama's like, this place isn't that bad. It's a little bit too wet, though. As Naruto's like, oh, let me change that. As Naruto makes where Kurama sits, it's like all dry now. And then he gives Kurama, a big old water bowl. He gets a pond, a little pond. So Kurama's like, thanks, kid. So Naruto's like, no problem. As Naruto's like, my mom. As Kurama starts to say, I'm really sorry. I couldn't fight the Genjutsu. As Naruto's like, it wasn't your fault. You were being controlled. I would never blame you for that. As Kurama smiles. As then he lays down, saying, I'm going to take a nap. Sleep well, Kurama. You've earned it. As Naruto leaves his mindscape. As 8-year-old Naruto appears back into the real world, as he cracks his neck, as he cracks his knuckles. As he walks over to his mother's body, as he picks it up. As he begins to walk. As he arrives to the cemetery, he looks at his mother. But in one last goodbye, he looked at her eyes. As he can see that his mother had a Mangekyo Sharingan. As he's like, but how did she have a Mangekyo? I didn't even know. As she hid it from everybody, she tried to stop Kurama, but Obito got her right before Obito was looking at her, and he made Kurama freaking just slice her, but whatever. As he's like, I have to do this. As he takes out his mother's eyes. As then he buries her in the favorite tree that they always used to sit under. As Naruto became really kind of emo. I'm not gonna lie. Not Sasuke type emo, but like emo as in like, Shikamaru emo. Like, it's just being a lazy prodigy. As Naruto puts his eyes in a jar, as in he takes them into to his house. As he puts them in a cabinet and locks it. He locks it with seals, as only his hand signs can open up the cabinet. So, Naruto said when his when he starts to go blind, that is when he'll use these eyes. But until then, as Naruto put seals, he put some paper seals, well not paper seals, but he put seals on his door. And then as he leaves, he puts them out his window because he's going to be gone for a while. And he knows there might be some crafty people in here that might want to take his stuff. As Naruto's about to enter a training trip, as Kurama plans to train Naruto. As he goes to the 4th Hokage's office, as he walks in on the 4th Hokage and Kushina that are freaking kissing, as Naruto's like, Lord 4th Hokage. As Minato's like, oh, Naruto. As Kushina's like, I want permission to take a 5-year training trip. Naruto, 5 years. As Naruto's like, yeah, I think that's enough time for me to become the strongest I need to be. And I'll become super strong to protect the ones I love. As Minato's like, I like the determination in your eyes, Naruto. Fine then. You may leave. But make sure you come back safe, or else I will send troops after you in 5 years. As Naruto's like, got it. As he smiles. As he runs and grabs his backpack from where he set it outside of the Hokage's office. He grabs his backpack and walks away. Now we're getting into a new Naruto adventure. So, Naruto has all of his jutsus and his Mangekyo in his backpack. I'm gonna say that he left his Mangekyos at the actually should I have made him take them? Yeah, he has the Mangekyos wrapped up in a seal that nobody can open in his little travel backpack. As his backpack's tight on his back as he is just walking. As he enters the Hidden Wave Village. As he's walking, he sees it's a poor place. As Naruto's like, what's going on here? As then he sees somebody that he thought he'd never see. He sees Rin in the Hidden Wave Village. As Naruto's like, Rin? As Rin's like, huh? As she turns around, like, no, Naruto? What are you doing here? What do you mean? I left the village to do some training. As she's like, oh, I see. Well, I'm kind of on like a little mission here with my sensei. Who's your sensei? As she points at, what's his face? She points at Zabuza. As Naruto's like, huh? One of the 7 ninja swordsmen. As Zabuza's like, do you need training too? As Naruto's like, oh no, I'm good on training. As Zabuza's like, don't get too cocky. You can always use a little bit of training. As Naruto's like, well, I already got the ultimate training partner. As Kurama laughs. As Zabuza says, well, let's do a little spar, kid. A little brat. As Naruto's like, alright, fine then. If I win, as Zabuza says, if I win, you have to do 5,000 push-ups. No, if I win, you have to do 100,000 push-ups. And if you win, you can get my blade. My executioner's blade. As Naruto's like, that blade does look pretty nice. Alright, deal. As Naruto takes off his backpack and takes a fighting stance. As Zabuza takes a fighting stance. As Naruto activates his 3-time-away Sharingan. As Zabuza's like, Sharingan. As Naruto's then right behind Zabuza. As he punches Zabuza in his back as Zabuza goes flying. As Zabuza slams his blade into the ground so that he can catch himself. As then he runs at Naruto. Naruto just stands still. And then Zabuza tries slicing through him. But he slices an illusion. As then he slices behind him as it was another illusion. As he's just slicing all these Narutos, that's illusion. And then from in the ground, Naruto says, water style. Water hunter jutsu. As then he drags Zabuza under the water. As then he freezes his body in ice. So that Zabuza's neck was ice. From Zabuza's neck down was all covered in ice in the water. As Naruto said, so, did I win? As Zabuza said, as it was a water clone. As Zabuza was behind Naruto swinging the blade, as it cut through another illusion of Naruto. As Zabuza's like, what? As in Naruto gives Zabuza a swift punch in the stomach. And then, when Zabuza goes flying and he hits a tree, Naruto appears in front of him and lets off a Godspeed barrage of attacks. As Naruto's just like punching the lightning out of this dude, bro, like super fast, kind of like how Killua did to that one dude. He's just punching him super fast. Yeah, he was punching him super fast with purple lightning. As Zabuza's eyes went white. As Rin was like, okay, enough. As Naruto stops. As Zabuza coughs up blood. As there's burn marks all over Zabuza's body. As Naruto said, "All right, Rin, well, I'll see you in 5 years." As he gives her eye smile. As he picks up Zabuza's executioner's blade, places it on his back. As then he grabs his book bag, putting it over top of it. As he begins to walk again. Naruto arrived to the sacred place of the Jinchurikis, where they go to master their tail beasts. Where Naruto got KCM 1, but that's where Naruto did in canon. That's where he went. As he took off his backpack and his sword as he entered his mindscape. As Kurama's like, "So Naruto, are you ready to learn how to harness the power of a Jinchuriki?" As Naruto's like, "Yes, I am." As for 5 long years, Naruto trained with Kurama. So Naruto is now 13 years old. As Naruto wears the clothes that Kid Kakashi wears. Whatever you want to say. This one or this. It's the same clothing, but whatever. Just imagine 2 Sharingans instead of 1. As he's gotten pretty taller. He's about as tall as Kid Sasuke in canon. As he wears the arm pad metal things and they're on his shoulders. Except he instead of wearing the blue shinobi sandals, he wears long black I don't know how to whatever. Now he wears exactly what Kakashi wears with the white ninja tape, except his ninja tape begins at his knees and goes to his ankles with black shinobi, whatever, dark blue shinobi sandals. It don't matter. Anyways, as Naruto stretches saying, "So Kurama, it's been 5 years, hasn't it?" As Kurama says, "Yes, and you fully mastered the powers of a Jinchuriki. Almost. You're still a little bit too young to unlock KCM, but you can use all of your he can use all the tail beast forms other than KCM 1 and 2. Therefore, he can use the 9-tailed bubbly chakra cloak, which is freaking overpowered, and he can use the he can use all the mini red Jinchuriki forms, like the 4 tails and the 5 tails form, 6 tails and 7 tails and 8 tails." As Naruto's like, "All right, Kurama, let's go back." As Naruto picks up his new modified executioner's blade. It's not even modified, to be honest. It's actually Naruto's worked on his physical body so that now Naruto's like really physically strong. So he can wield the executioner's blade like it's a freaking feather and swing it like it weighs nothing. As Naruto begins to walk back to the village. On the way back to the village, Naruto notices a certain person that he's seen once before, but he couldn't exactly tell who it was because he hasn't seen him in 5 years. He sees Itachi as Itachi's hair has grown out, as Itachi's getting taller too. As they lock eyes, as Itachi was on a mission with his Genin squad. This was going to be the mission that they get massacred on. As Itachi's like, "Naruto?" As Naruto's like, "Itachi?" As Itachi runs up to Naruto. As Naruto runs to Itachi. As I say, "Is it really you?" As Naruto's like, "Of course it is." As he smiles. As he says, "Wow, you've gotten tall. Well, we're almost the same height. I'm just a little bit shorter than you." As Naruto's like, "Yeah, you are." As in his Genin squad says, "Who is this?" As Itachi says, "This is the boy I was telling you guys about, Naruto Uchiha." As they say, "This is him?" As they look at a boy that wears Kakashi's clothes with the mask and but he does have a large executioner's blade on his back with the backpack. As they're like, "Are you sure he's strong, Itachi? He doesn't look that strong." "So, you want to spar then," is what I'm hearing. As she's like, "Fine." As Naruto doesn't even take a fighting stance as she runs at Naruto. As she throws a punch that Naruto doesn't even dodge. But as she does it, Naruto vanishes. He doesn't vanish. He turns into when she punches it, it goes right through him, blowing him away in the wind. As she was confused, as Naruto landed a strong kick to her back, sending her flying, smacking against a tree face first as she fell on the ground. And she was freaking coughing, Matt. She was coughing, bro. As Naruto was like, oh, man. I swear, I need to I want to let loose a little bit. As Itachi says, so, will you be coming back to the village? As Naruto's like, yes, I will be. As he says, well, you can come with us to finish our mission, and then we can go back together. As Naruto's like, alright, as they begin to walk. As then, a masked man appeared in front of the whole team with Naruto. As he's like, well, listen, if it isn't my old friend Naruto. As Naruto's like, oh, it's you. As Obito's like, yes, it's me. Are you not afraid of me? Why would I have a reason to be afraid of you? I could kill you whenever I want to. As Obito's like, oh, well, come and try it then, precious Ninetales. As Naruto's like, what do you mean? Look at your stomach. As Obito slowly looks down at his stomach, Naruto has already lodged the executioner's blade through him, without him even noticing Naruto's presence or feeling it. As Obito thinks that this is just a genjutsu, so he slowly tries to release, as blood starts dripping down on Obito. As Obito's like, no way. As Naruto teleports behind him, pulling his sword out really fast. As Obito drops to the ground and coughs blood, before he can come away, Naruto he freaking shoves his executioner's blade through Obito's leg. As Obito yells out in pain. As Naruto pulls his mask off, revealing a man that the side of his face looks like it was freaking Hot Pocket. Or like I don't know, it looks like jelly. The side of his face looks like freaking wrinkly. As he's like, what happened to you? As Obito lost too much blood. Therefore, he died. As Naruto's like, man, I don't know what's going on here. This is a strange world. As he says, well, you guys go on ahead. I have to do some things. They're like, okay. As the first thing he does is Naruto takes out Obito's Mangekyo. As he puts it inside of the jar. Now he has 3 Mangekyos. He's thinking about a way to combine 2 of them to create a stronger Mangekyo. As he asks Kurama about it, Kurama says, you will be able to. I will show you how. As Naruto says, we'll do it when we get back to the village. As he puts the jar back in his backpack. As they complete the mission. As then they arrive back to the village. As when they arrive back to the village, Naruto sees somebody that he really wanted to see. He sees Rin Namahara. As she runs up to Naruto and jumps in his arms. As she wraps her legs around his waist. As she puts her arms around his neck. As she's just like freaking sitting on him right now. Not even sitting on him, but like holding on to him while her legs are wrapped around his back. As they look at each other's face. As Naruto's like, oh, hey Rin. As Rin's like, I missed you. As Naruto's like, I missed you too. So what's the special occasion? And she's like, what do you mean? Well, you kind of jumped on me and you wrapped your legs around my waist and your arms are kind of wrapped around me. And she's like, do you have a problem with that? And Naruto's like, oh, no, it's actually kind of nice, but I was just wondering. And she's like, yep, no special occasion. I'm just glad you're back. And Naruto's like, good to be back. And she gets down saying, well, let's go report to the Hokage's office. As Naruto's like, fine. As he grabs Rin, picks her up, and teleports. As he teleports back into the Hokage's office, as the Hokage sees Naruto, as he's like, Naruto, you've changed. I have? As he scratches the back of his head, as Minato's like, yeah, you have. Well, welcome back to the village. As Naruto's like, good to be back, Minato. As Minato's like, well, here's the keys. We've kind of modified your house. We haven't really touched anything, but we did make it bigger. As Naruto's like, alright. As he walks to his house, he notices that the Minato had released the seals. So Naruto's like, well, I guess I really don't mind since I ended up taking my mom's Mangekyos anyways. As he enters the house, it was the floors were nice, pearly and shiny, as the walls were nice and as there was a fireplace with a TV with cable and a couch, a large sofa. as his bedroom was pretty the same, but it looked good though. The living room and the kitchen were freaking good, as his fridge had been filled with food just the day before. Naruto's like, oh, so y'all went all out. I'm looked at as a hero in this village, huh? Naruto's like, but Kurama, we have business to take care of. As Kurama's like, yes, go into the bathroom. As Naruto's like, alright. As he locks the door, as he goes into the bathroom. As he pulls the jar with the 3 Mangekyos. As the first thing he does is that he takes his right eye out as he puts one of his mother's that was in the jar inside of it. As Naruto's eye starts to spin as he unlocks the eternal Mangekyo in his right eye. As then he had 3 eyes left. The one that he pulled out of his eye socket and the 2 that were in the jar. As Naruto puts all 3 eyes in his hand. As he puts his other hand over his other hand so that he can no longer see the Sharingans. He mixes Kurama's chakra with his chakra, and he sits there and does it for a solid 50 minutes. As then finally when he's done, there's just 1 eye. This was called the ultimate eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. As he puts it into his left eye, as it spins rapidly. It looks the same as his actually no it doesn't. So he has his EMS and his ultimate EMS in his left. So no matter what, Naruto's freaking beast right now. So Naruto's like, well, that was good. As in he pours the medical fluid out into the sink as he throws the jar away. As he's like, well, I guess I have my ultimate dojutsu now. Well, guys, that's what we're going to part 2. If you guys want part 3, let me see 50 likes again. 50 likes and I'll drop part 3. But, oh, snap, I forgot. Y'all said 100 likes and I have to double upload. Alright, bro, I'm about to drop part 3 right after this. Alright, Dragon says again, we out of John.